Hey guys, Sheldon back with another review, and today we are looking at the Super Action statue Stone Free from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the box really quickly so you can see the name right here again in pink, some of the poses you can put her in, the accessories that she comes with, the display stand of course, which I won't really go over, some hands, and you can see that she comes with 3 heads in total. You have some, I guess, just another pose, some box window, or a box window, and another pose. Alright, cool. Let's take a look at the accessories a bit more closely. Okay, here's just a quick visual of all the things that Stone Free comes with, so all the hands. So they are pretty much the same on both sides except for the finger hands, so we'll take a closer look. But of course the display stand right here, and the instruction manual that tells you the articulation, of course the 2 fist hands, which we'll take a look at right about now. Here is Stone Free with her fist hands. Here she is with these kind of bent finger relaxed hands, kind of like clawing hands, or I can't believe the episode left on a cliffhanger hand. Here she is with these kind of straight finger hands, which I love. They're kind of like the jazz finger hands, so they're the most fabulous ones. Here's Stone Free with these kind of fingered together hands. They're supposed to be chopping hands maybe, but you can see that they're more like cupping hands. They're like bent here. So I don't know, personally, I wouldn't use them for chopping poses because I think like the fingers would be straight, but here they are. And finally for hands, Stone Free comes with a single pointing hand for the right side. So let's talk about the hand really quickly though, or just hands in general. Overall, they're pretty nice here. I do like how the fingers, and I suppose I picked the wrong hand to talk about it, but the fingers have a different paint than the hand itself, so it's nice. It's kind of like, let me see. They are sculpted though, so all those little lines are sculpted in there. And you know, in case you're not sure why, Stone Free is supposed to be made up of strings, those that sort. Made up of tiny strings, kind of like bundled together. So while I'm on here, though, I do want to note that because Stone Free is made up of silver strings, I did mention in my Jolene review that I wish that Jolene herself. So here, let me kind of bring it up. Okay, so you know, for Jolene, she did have accessories that kind of like let her body turn into strings, and my huge problem with that was that they were flesh tone. So I personally felt like they'd look nicer if they're silver because it would just be less gross for one thing. But you know, like these strings come out of her body, and those strings are supposed to bundle up into Stone Free. So there's just a bit of a mismatch there. So kind of unfortunate. So okay, so enough about that though. Let's go ahead and talk about Stone Free a bit more. So on top of those hands, Stone Free also comes with 2 heads. So she comes with this head, which is actually her default head, by the way. I just used the other one because I like it a little bit better. Okay, here we go. So let's compare them next to each other. And so you see for the most part, it's actually pretty much the same overall though. The only difference is the color and design of the shades, but essentially they kind of plug into her ears. And of course the biggest feature, which is the presence of a nose and lips. So I believe this one's actually the very first appearance of Stone Free in the manga, and eventually Araki added facial features. I personally like this one mostly because it's more stoic and it is pretty cool. Okay, so let's take a look at this head though. So overall, again, I really do like the design of the stand, and I love how there's kind of like these string peeking out. So it's kind of like she has a shell over this bundle of string kept together, and that's just really, really cool. And I do like how the transparent plastic is, well, I guess it's transparent, and you can see Stone Free's eyes here. So overall, it's pretty nice, and I like how this kind of silver piece goes up across the head as well. And I love how you have these little bumps sculpted in there and painted fairly cleanly. Let me see if you can see the eyes on this head, though. I don't know if they show up. Let me see. I think they're in there. Yeah, they technically are, and they are yellow. I just peeked over. Okay, and of course you have the yelling head, which, again, it's just the same head, the same design as the previous head, except yelling. So, again, there's something about it, maybe because the skin is blue, that like when I see the pinkness of the mouth, it just throws it a bit off. I don't know. It's a personal preference. If you like this head, that's cool. I like this one. Okay, let's take a look at the figure a bit more closely then. Alright, so Stone Free stands about just about 6 inches tall, which makes her about a little under 16 centimeters there. So I did forget to mention though, so Stone Free in my opinion comes with a pretty good number of accessories. The only thing that I wish she had come with was some sort of like accessory that let her basically unravel her body, because again she is made up of strings. When we just saw that Jolene has these kind of accessories that like let her unravel her body here, so it would have been cool if they had something like what Sticky Fingers had. If you recall, I did a review for Sticky Fingers a while ago. I think that might have been my very first one, actually. But regardless, though, right, Sticky Fingers has the accessory. Well, his ability is he can unzip himself, right? And so one of the cool effect parts he has, and one of the coolest, in my opinion, is that he can just kind of like unravel and stretch out. And it would have been really nice if Stone Free had something like that too. But okay, that's okay. I don't really mind. She does come with a good amount of stuff. Okay, enough about that. Let's do a size comparison, though. So here she is next to her stand user Jolene. Did this one already in the Jolene review, but here it is again. So a little bit taller, just about half a head. Here is Stone Free and Jolene next to the SH Figuarts Ant-Man. So I kind of have them like bent over, I guess, like, I don't know, bent backwards a little bit, but roughly the same size. Looks like the SH Figuarts Ant-Man is a little thicker, which makes sense. He's supposed to be like some Western superhero, so he's more muscular. Okay, let me see what else I have, though. And put Jolene aside. And here is, whoops, oh no, something dropped. Okay, here is Stone Free next to Kiss. And so Kiss is kind of bent over, and I'm going to change her pose because I don't know, it took me a while to get this pose. But you see that they're roughly the same size, and I guess stature and proportions. So here's Kiss, she does scale well. And then finally though, here she is, Stone Free, next to Crazy Diamond. Alright, so Crazy Diamond, as you can see, he's got his legs kind of like open apart, whatever. He's like, his legs are apart here, and he's still almost as tall, and he is pretty thick. So there you go, just to give you an idea of where Stone Free is in terms of scale. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the articulation now. All right, get that to focus here. All right, so Stone Free, in terms of articulation, for the most part, is fairly, I don't know, it's just not that different from the typical super action statue. It's just done a little bit better here in some places. Okay, anyway, so here you go, though. The head is on that hinged ball joint over here, so you get the full rotation. And then here she is looking up with just the hinge, only the hinge. So all the way up here, you can get her the kind of fly or like, I don't know, like bungee jump or whatever, but pretty good. And then going down here, only the hinge itself, you can get her to look at the ground here. Right, so really good range of motion. Again, I do have to admit that part of it is probably due to the simple design of the stand. Okay, the neck is on a single just ball joint. And here's the thing. So I have heard some people complain about QC issues, and I did have one for Stone Free. When I pulled the head off to change it, the neck actually popped off. Not even the joint, like the piece of plastic that's glued into the body came off. So that was a bummer, but I did just use some like plastic glue and I fixed it right up and it's nice and tight now. So here is the range of motion going forward, and to be honest, it's not that great. And here it is going back. So that's really all that is. It actually doesn't add all that much. You do get a bit of rotation, but again, the head makes it hard to grab onto, which has kind of been a consistent problem with the super action statues. But you can turn it, as you can see over here, and get some pretty good rotation. But in terms of front and back, not that good. Let me get this back to the middle. All right, and for these shoulders here, kind of got mixed feelings about this one. So here it is going up, so really not that much, surprisingly. About 45, maybe a bit more. But the shoulders right here, here's something interesting. They're on, it's pegged into the torso and pegged into the bicep. But the shoulder pad is attached to the top of the shoulder and it rotates like this. You can see that it's kind of just on the joint and it just kind of like swivels around there. So I really do like that, actually. I much prefer it like this than if it was actually attached to the body and if it didn't rotate. So you do get full rotation right here, no problem. This piece is actually hollow and soft as well. So even though it does hinder, you can get it to go a little bit more, as you can see here. In fact, you actually do get better than 45 if you're not just a little sissy, I guess. But okay, it is there, right? And you do get the bicep rotation over here, hidden pretty well thanks to the design again. And again, I think this is probably why I like this figure so much, is that the design is done well and it's just well executed. It just has these strings peeking out here of that shell, and like the break comes right at the bicep and just works so well. Okay, and then for the elbow though, we got double jointed over here, so pretty good range of motion. Again, pegged into the bicep, pegged into the forearm. You do get rotation on either side, but the elbow pad will get in the way if you're not careful. So do be careful if you're planning to rotate it at the elbow. Like, let me see if I can zoom in on this for you guys. Or at least focus. Okay, all right, so the sculpt does come in and it does get in the way, so be careful, try not to have that elbow pad fly off. And you do get rotation at the forearm here, and then for the wrist, pretty standard is just that hinged peg over here, so you do get rotation, no problem, you do get a hinge, and then combined you get some pretty good range of motion. And again, thanks to the sculpt, nothing really gets in the way. All right, for the chest articulation though, or the ab, it's actually not that flexible. Well, we'll see. So it is just a single ball joint over here, so you do get some pretty good rotation over here like that. And then here it is going forward just by itself. Let me see if I can pull out here so you can see. So here it is going forward over here. So it's all right. It doesn't look that great from the back, as you can see though, because you do get some pretty good gapping. And then here it is going back, so it's okay. And then for the waist, same joint, you get some pretty good rotation. So not much going forward, that's pretty much it. That's all it is going back. And here it is in total. So not that much, but the side-to-side lean is pretty decent. And you'll see at the end for the pictures, I'm actually able to get her in some pretty nice poses over there. So it's not the best, but I would say it's decent. For the hips, pretty standard ball joint over here, though. You can see that it's just a joint. So out to the side, not that much to be expected. It's kind of like the Super Action statue trademark hips. So it's like, you know, kind of take it or leave it, what have you. Something that is also consistent, and I will kind of make a note of this, is that the legs generally have the hips like sculpted like this. And so sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it does get in the way of articulation for sure. Like how should I say it? So like, it just so happens that this ball joint, like the articulation ends right about here, where this doesn't bump into the hip, but sometimes you do get more, and this part just ends up bumping up against the hip. So that is a problem here. So here she is kicking forward though, so about horizontal, and then going backwards. It does come out to the side a little bit here thanks to the butt sculpt, but technically it is there. And then as you can see, you do get a thigh swivel over here for the knees, double jointed, pretty good range of motion all the way down actually. And then the knees pegged into the thigh, so you can swivel at the knee. And then for the ankle, here it is going back, pretty good range of motion. I can already tell not that much going forward though, again thanks to the sculpt right here. And here is the toe hinge, and here is her ankle rocker. Let me see how far I can get this for you guys. So the sculpt does come down, but you do get a pretty good amount over here. So overall, articulation pretty good. It is limited in some places, but here's kind of my opinion. So before I shoot the videos, actually, I take all the pictures first, and anytime I tried to put Stone Free into a pose, I almost had no problem. Like, I would think of something that I want to put her in, and I was basically almost able to do it every single time. So again, even though some of the articulation is limited, I agree. it's mostly when I'm handling the figure, it's just so frictionless, which is why I generally have a high opinion of this figure. Okay, so that's articulation. Let's talk about the paint and sculpt very quickly. So, I mean, you can see it. I don't have to go into it that much, right? But it probably shows up on camera, but she kind of has this kind of pearlescent blue here. So that's a really nice touch. And again, the design of the character, it's a single color. There is a gradient here, and it is done pretty well, though. A lot of bumps over here, and they're all painted fairly cleanly. And these kind of like bundles of string, they pop out a little bit. They're not the cleanest, but they are such a small detail that I will forgive them. But these shoulders are done very cleanly over here. So yeah, in terms of the design, personally I like it. It's closer to a baby blue, actually. It's a little darker on my camera. So overall impression, I would say if you're a fan of this character, there's no doubt you should probably pick it up. It's a pretty good figure. And like you might have heard me say before, though, it's probably one of the best super action statues, period. And again, mostly as a consequence of the simple character design. Articulation is very good. Sculpt is very nice. Even if you're not a fan of Jojo, I would recommend it. This is a pretty good entry into the super action statue line. Only drawback is that it's a very popular character, and it's hard to find. So if you can find it for a good deal, I do recommend it. Okay, well that pretty much does it for this review, though. If you enjoyed, feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. I'm going to put this figure in some poses at the end. Okay, but yeah, thanks for watching, all of you.